Hi guys, welcome. This is going to be an episode talking on dying in faith. And dying in faith is going to be a little bit different from how we normally understand it, how we normally conceive of it. Because it's been a concern for me when I dive into religious circles, get myself acquainted and with people that are rather religious or consider themselves as such. You know, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish. I said Judas. Jewish. That actually reminds me, Judas. I will keep that thought in my head. This idea of Judas. Actually, I think it's going to be a really great example. But yeah, I mean, whatever religion we proclaim and believe and have faith towards, I think to really have anything, even the original formation of your religious experiences, the formation of your religious beliefs, they need to get put on the, they need to be put on the guillotine, We need to experience a sort of death with them. And this is a death that I wouldn't just force upon anybody, but because I think death calls upon us all in specific moments of our lives. But what I would say is that it's probably best that we shouldn't resist it when it arises. Some of my most painful experiences have been where I dropped Christianity, I dropped Islam, and as painful as they are, because what's really painful is that we're always left facing that nothingness. We're left facing that abyss. And for me, I have to say, even the people that are angry, that have sort of like this resentment about religion, about their experiences, I must say that in many ways they're still religious. They haven't really experienced a death in their faith. And so they are just sort of living by, or pulsing through their life with these experiences, with hatred and anger, or just never really coming to face with it, right? They're just I mean, you'd hear this all the time. Oh, I don't like organized religion. Oh, typically these people have a very one-dimensional view of religion, typically. But you can tell about, when you talk about their specific faith, or their previous faith that they proclaim, they have some irritation, they have some anger towards it. And so what does it really mean to die in your faith? For me to really die in your faith, you have to go through the real stages of grieving, of experiencing this death of loss of your faith. And I think a lot of people actually a lot of people that proclaim themselves to be atheists, that proclaim themselves to be um, anything other than their original faith, is that actually, in my opinion, they're still grieving. They're still grieving, and I think it's still very possible to grieve. And again, I don't blame them for grieving. I've experienced this, and it's really painful. But all that I'm encouraging is that we allow it to take place, allow it to fully die. And the reason why I say that, I think it's that the evidence is the anger, the frustration, the sort of hatred towards the religion, towards the people that proclaim to be part of that religion. A lot of these experiences are like that. A lot of people that I would talk to about religion would have particular experiences with people that proclaimed to be part of that religion and simply acted poorly. There's a Muslim man. I'll never forget when I first accepted Islam. He told me, the worst representatives of Islam are Muslims. That's what he told me. He said they are the worst representatives of the religion. So he said, you have to try to find what is Islam for you. You have to find that. And it's funny because I think in many ways I actually took that advice seriously. But I would like to broaden that concept, broaden that question, and so this is why I feel like even the ideas of New Age, some of the ideas of New Age spirituality, religion, I think a lot of it is insincere. A lot of it is people that are still grieving their past faith, but they're still trying to find it. But the thing is, they still haven't truly let something die. They still haven't let it die. And, of course, all of this is very hard to prove, right? I'm not a fan of proving. I don't want somebody to approach me after this talk to be like, oh, well, how can you prove that I'm grieving? Well, I'm not interested in proving that you're grieving, but maybe just the aspect that you approach me would. I don't know. But again, I'm not interested in proving anybody that's grieving. The only thing I'm interested in is making, clearing the fog a little bit for ourselves. This has always been one of my favorite things to do, right? Is that in my own experiences, I can share them, and then hopefully, if it applies to you, not everything applies to everybody, but if it applies to you and you feel that it may apply to you, give it a chance. Look into yourself. Is this really true? Are you really grieving your past faith? And that all your actions have sort of been, I don't want to say like fake or insincere, but maybe all of your actions have sort of been hinting at that you are grieving. That what you're pointing to with your actions are not really what they're really pointed to. Oh, that's such a... Okay. I think you guys know what I mean. That's a very strange sentence. I don't feel like re-saying it. But yes, I thought about this idea about dying in faith, dying in a faith, dying, because you do have to have a degree of faith, and you could probably say this aspect of dying in faith, this is a higher order, maybe, a higher calling of that. Because what I'm asking you to do, if you are grieving your past faith, is that you're going to have faith that you will come out of this okay, that you will survive this death, that there is something within the very decay that is blooming, that is ripening within yourself. And it's scary because there's no guarantee that it's there. You know, I truly wished that when I grew up in Christianity, I truly wish that if I had any doubts, if I had anything of that nature, and if I ever had the fantasy of leaving, there's a part of me that wishes my parents would have encouraged it. You know, just okay. If you doubt it, if you know, you're scared that it's not true, then go seek for it. Go for it. Go out there. Find for yourself if it is true. Find for yourself if it is what it really says it is. I wish, I mean, but you know, of course, I'm a man now and I can't sit here wishing all the time. But I can do things like this. I can say that from now on, you know, when I talk to my imaginary audience, when I talk to people that want to listen to me, I would say, hey, you know, if you doubt it, then go for yourself. Go out there, seek it. There's always should be some sense of danger and excitement and fear and hope. Again, I don't want this to be like a sort of hero's journey, but you know, I still think the story of the Odyssey is relative here. You know, we must leave. We must leave. There's no guarantee that we're going to be a hero of anything, but we must leave, and hopefully we return. But see, the thing about returning is that most likely you won't return as the same. You could say, well, I did that and I returned to my faith. I returned to my Christianity even stronger. Well, that's good. I'm happy that you feel that you've encountered that experience. But again, for me, my main concern is the people that are still grieving their faith, are still grieving what they haven't really truly let go of. And the only thing that I could say that could give us hints about how do I experience a death in my faith truly is that I can leave that faith and still have love for it. I hope that makes sense. That I can leave that faith and still have the admiration and the care and the love for it. So actually, for me, as a person that doesn't really claim any particular faith, any organized faith, as of yet, I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't really bound myself to, oh, I'm never going to believe in any sort of organized religion again. I don't bound myself to such things. But in my experience, I can say this. I can say that right now I don't bound myself to any of these. But I have great love for it. And in reality, I'm almost very Dostoevsky in character, where I have great love for mankind and his religious spirit, you could say. That is the part that I am very, very adamant about, man's religious spirit. And so all these religions that I've left behind, they do form a part of who I am. I don't want to let that get it twisted, like as if everything is wasted. I mean, my knowledge has grown exponentially. I mean, I never would have thought that I would know so much about Islamic culture and the religion itself. It almost, in many ways, because I immersed myself so deeply, it almost feels like a type of family, in a strange way, like a home that I recognize but I no longer go to, or a home that I have left. I think it matters to die in faith. It matters to experience that death, because, and just in my experience, it just feels like what a lot of people do is all they will ever want to do is just reconfirm the previous belief. But to me, that is already death. That is already dying, but dying in the most horrific way. Dying in the most horrific way. Sometimes I feel like not a lot of people talk about and this is me coming back to the story of Judas, which I've been thinking about. A lot of people look at Judas as the betrayer, as the man that was going to betray Jesus. And I've been thinking about how I wanted to interpret this for a little while, because I think Judas needs to be revived in terms of its something about how to die. At least right now, this is my essential interpretation, is that we can look at Judas as someone that did betray Jesus, right? But if we take the Islamic conception about how Judas was made to look like Jesus, and that was who they sacrificed on the cross, I think this gives a very good and essential character about dying in the faith. And how one can reach some type of proximity that we never were previously close to. I don't want to dive too deep into this explanation. This is maybe something I'll talk about in depth later on, but I will leave it open because I feel like it's really rich to talk about and to reflect upon. And for myself, I like making content that doesn't answer things for us, not necessarily, but leaves us with more questions and leaves you with critical reflections that maybe you can encounter upon. Alright. Take care, guys. Bye.